So what's that necklace?
Well, I'm giving these for Christmas gifts to my sisters and sister-in-laws, and I'm trying them all out.
Wow, every single one of them?
I think I will.
Oh my God, then you won't want to give them away once you try them on and they look real good.
Well, each one is so unique. They're handmade by a woman named Mary, and it's origami. This is little tiny pieces of paper, and when you look on her website, one of them she says she cut 500 times.
Wow, that's really creative. You look at these and they are just incredibly exquisite in their detail and their color. They really look nice.
Just amazing.
And for it to be paper, I always find that to be amazing. We had purchased some necklaces from her 2 years ago, and it's amazing how they hold up through time, and it's paper. It just amazes me what can be done with paper if you're creative.
She must use some kind of
Lacquer or
something
on them,
to
right?
make it hard, because it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't just feel flimsy like paper, it feels hard, and so she must use it because it would just be ruined if it was just,
Exactly. And if
yeah.
they got wet, you would think it would just fall apart, right?
Yeah, right. And they're just, I mean, maybe it would. I don't know. I mean, you don't wear them in
Yeah, I wouldn't.
swimming or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear them in a pool, but some of them are just very, as I'm looking at them over here, some of them are just really exquisite in their detail. I mean, you look at something like that, look at that. That is just really takes a lot of work and craftsmanship, and it's beautiful.
And I made a video on these, so you can see all of them in that video. I'll put the link in the description. But Steve, everybody's been saying, "Hey, Sue, where's Steve?"
Yeah. Well, I took a little vacation. As you can tell, I've been out in the sun. I've been on a boat and fishing, and just having a whole bunch of fun.
That's a metaphor for I was at the dentist getting a root canal.
Yeah.
Every time we have a medical procedure, we say, "How did you like that vacation?"
No, it was great. Yeah.
Because the cost of it is
It's about the same as a vacation. Exactly. So, yeah, I was in a dentist chair with my mouth wide open with sunglasses on, and it felt like I was at the beach.
Yeah, they just put a TV on with a beach scene, and they say, "Enjoy your beach trip."
That's right, with a bright light in my eyes and fingers in my mouth, and it was just unbelievable.
I don't think you have fingers in your mouth on a beach trip, huh?
No, not usually. Not unless you've drank too much on your beach trip. But anyway, that's kind of what I've been. So I had a root canal, and I have a crown that was replaced, which is just wonderful. That was an amazing experience. I recommend it for everyone. It definitely brings the humility back to your life.
He doesn't recommend it. I had mine a year ago, but I had zero pain. What's up with that? Zero pain, and he was in severe pain.
Until
I didn't even know I had a problem.
Yeah,
right?
until they got the root out, then there was no pain.
I didn't even know until I went for my routine checkup that I even had a big hole in my bone.
Yeah, what I can say is boys and girls, men and women, take care of your teeth. That's an important thing. Brush 3 times a day. Don't forget the floss.
It starts in childhood.
Yes, don't forget the floss.
Take care of your children's teeth.
That's right. Don't chew ice, and
don't
make
chew
sure
ice
your
ever.
teeth don't get cracked. And
Popcorn, ice.
popcorn, stay away from it. You just have to make sure you take care of your teeth, because the pain
and your
later
children's
in
teeth
life,
and your children's teeth.
and your dog's teeth.
This goes back to our childhood.
Yeah.
It's not something that just happened in adulthood. Mine all go back to my childhood.
Yeah, even though as a child I used to walk to the dentist, which was a couple blocks from my house, and I had an appointment that my mom set up, and I would see the dentist, and the dentist would do whatever they need to do, and then send me home with a bill and and a lollipop or a sucker, whatever you want to call it, and that was it. And I used to do that on a regular basis, probably quarterly, and my parents were always on me about brushing my teeth. But here I am today, and my teeth aren't real bad. It's just that when you do have a root canal or a cavity or a crown or something, it's the worst, because nobody likes the needles and nobody likes the drilling and having to listen to that. So yeah, that's where I spent my vacation.
And the vacation before that was
Yeah.
the toilet leaking, right?
Yeah. So I
We've
mean,
been on a lot of vacations
yeah.
this year.
Have some pictures we'll share later.
That's a different video, the toilet
Yeah.
leak.
And I got a root canal or picture of my crown.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
I do. I have a picture of my tooth without the
Okay,
crown.
before that, we was Sammy. Sammy was our real big vacation, right? She was Hawaii, right?
Yeah, she was. She was. Sammy's not in this because she's just out of control. She's eaten today. She's gone outside. She snuggled with her mom for a while.
Well, I've got the bites all over me again. I finally cleared up my hands and arms where she's was biting me all the time. She's finally starting to outgrow that, and then all of a sudden she started again.
Yeah, Sammy has definitely some signs that she's either hungry, has to go out, or she's tired. And she does, her signs end with her biting you.
Well, I don't know why, because she did quit for a little bit, but
Yeah, she's back to doing it, and she can break your skin very easily.
our skin is thin because we're older, so it's not like she's biting too hard. If she just bites just the slightest bite, it's going to break our skin because it's so thin.
Yeah, yeah. And she's a good girl, though, overall.
Well, I said in the one video about 70% of the time. She's
Yeah.
sweet Sammy, and then,
Sweet Sammy.
then Devil Sammy comes out at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, Devil Sammy, and we try to keep her up till at least 10:15. Although lately,
After her 7 o'clock nap.
after her 7 o'clock, and she takes her 7 o'clock nap, and then she gets up. She sleeps for maybe an hour or so we can eat dinner, and then she gets up and runs around, plays, and then we kind of want to get her in bed. She'll lay down, calm down about 10 o'clock, but then she'll get up again, and she may be up until 12 o'clock latest, but then she'll sleep until 9 o'clock the next morning, which is just wonderful. You couldn't ask for better than that, to sleep through the night plus.
And that took a few months. I mean, we thought housebroken until the hurricane, and then with all the rain,
Yeah.
she refused to go outside. I mean, she went outside. I took her outside, but she just refused to use the restroom.
Yeah.
I had finally taken her out so many times, and she would get soaked, and I was using an umbrella at first, and then I said no. So when she started getting soaked, she started going. So one night I asked Steve to take her out because I had her out so many times. He brought her back in. She was dry as could be. I said, "How is she so dry?" He said, "I held the umbrella over her, and she didn't go." She didn't go. And I said, "Give me the umbrella. Get back out there. Get her wet." And she won't go.
Get back out there.
And she did. When she got wet, she went to the bathroom. And
She did.
And of course, we dry her off with a towel. She's our pampered princess.
Didn't dry me off with a towel, but
Well, you had an
know.
umbrella. You didn't hold it over her, right?
She will pee or poop quickly if she's getting wet. I mean, she's kind of a smart dog.
I don't know about quickly, but
Within a matter of time, I mean.
no, Sierra's the best. She's in and
Yeah.
out. She's in and out.
Yeah, Sierra, if it's raining, she won't go out.
But she holds it. She doesn't go in
Right.
the house.
Yeah.
She holds it forever, which is not healthy, but she does, and she's
Yeah.
13 and a half.
Yeah, oh,
So we've had our challenges with a 13 and a half year old and a 4.5 month old.
Oh my God, what a difference. You wish that in some parts the 13-and-a-half-year-old was like the 4-month-old, but then you wish the 4-month-old was somewhat like the 13.
Well, we figured these
13-year-old.
We were told these for the last 2 years of Sierra's life. So we knew the last 2 years of a senior dog would be challenging, and the first 2 of a puppy's life would be challenging. So we thought they'd overlap, and we just have a very challenging 2 years, right?
Exactly.
Expense-wise and stress-wise. Lack of
Exactly.
sleep, cleaning up lots of poop and throw up. Sierra's thrown up a lot these days.
Well, she gets into eating some strange stuff outside, and then she comes in and throws up. She can't throw up outside. She has to throw up in the house, and so anyway, Sierra's doing really well, though. I mean, we went on a 3-mile walk the
Yes,
other day.
and that was on last Wednesday. You could see that video. Just beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Our newest Georgia State Park, Don Carter, that we went as far north as possible away from Atlanta to get away from all the hurricane issues. We didn't know how far we needed to get away, so we
Right.
picked Don Carter, and they have an area for horses, for boats, for Gosh, everything. Camping, cabins.
Yeah, RVs.
It's beautiful and so much to explore.
They have what's called a primitive campsite, which we didn't look at it, but some people who we were talking to were going there with their kids, and it looks like they brought their whole house, actually.
There was 5 families there together, and I was watching them take 2, 3, 4 trips back to the car, and finally I asked. Steve was convinced they had to go into a cabin, but they had pots and pans and everything.
Yeah.
And one man came back alone, and he still had half a truck full of pots and pans, and he came back to get them. And I said, "Is that a tent or a cabin?" He said, "A tent." And he goes, "There's no water or electric." And I'm like,
Yeah, they're primitive.
"How the heck are you washing all those pots and pans you brought?"
Well, there's a lake, right?
You're not on the lake. You're not using the lake. I really was
Right.
wondering if there. I didn't see any gallons. Did you see any gallons of water in all
No.
their trips? I saw
No,
a
but-
Trader Joe's bag
Yeah.
and lots of shoes.
Yeah, but we weren't examining it. But it's just interesting that you know, people who still want to camp, there are these areas that have what's called primitive campsites where it's just a tent, and then you provide everything
Well,
else.
he stressed they had a picnic table and a bonfire area, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not just a tent.
Right.
They had to have a bonfire to cook their dinner,
Yeah.
which I guess was probably hot dogs. I mean, what else are you cooking on the bonfire? Hot dogs and
You can cook
s'mores.
anything.
Yeah, if you have something over it, a grate or something to
Yeah.
put those pots and pans on. We didn't. I wish now we had examined those campgrounds, but so there was numbers along our hike, and I thought they were mile markers because most hiking sites have mile markers. If you're hurt, you call 911. You say, "I'm at 13." I remember 13 stood out. And no, that was actually the tent site 13, which
Right.
I didn't realize because you couldn't see it at all. It was so heavily wooded. That kind of concerned me because, I don't know, weren't there a lot of pines there?
Yeah, they were. a lot
And we saw trees that had just
Yeah, it's
fallen.
Georgia.
I mean, the hurricane just hit, and there was trees that just fell on that. And so we were thinking, so sadly, we were concerned that these tent areas seemed to be in the middle of all this heavily wooded area where we had noticed many trees just fell. There was lots of debris all over the trail. Because I was pushing Sammy in a stroller, I noticed it because it was hard to always get her smooth. You know, she was upset if I went over a little branch. But anyway, Steve pointed out a tree that just fell. And it just reminded me, because I had read that Tim Waltz's brother died in that exact scenario. He was camping and a tree fell on his tent, and sadly he passed away. And I thought of all these 5 families with all their kids. And these trees, I don't know, from my understanding, don't they fall right after heavy rains, like the rains from the
'cause
hurricane?
the roots aren't very deep.
So so this would be a time you think, oh, the rains are gone, but that's when they fall, is after. Or
Right.
I mean,
The soil's saturated and the wind's blowing and the roots aren't very deep with pine trees. And so, yeah, they fall over.
yeah, we went and got the prices afterwards because we were interested in renting a cabin, and the cabin is $225 one night. And this was a primitive campsite that's $25 a night, but they also have, you could have, the RV site is only $34 a night, and they say you could put 2 tents there. And I think we looked at it, we're not positive, but what we remember is there were no trees at the RV site.
Right.
And at the RV site, you had water, electric, and cable for $34, and you could put 2 tents, so 2 families
Pretty nice.
could have split that 34. It would have been cheaper. You'd have water,
Yeah.
electric, cable, and no trees. Now, they probably wanted to give their kids the ultimate camping experience with the trees, but as a mother, I was very concerned about those trees falling because in this hurricane, many of the initial deaths weren't they from trees?
Right.
They were from trees falling on cars and homes.
Yeah.
And so I just felt, as I'm always a protective mother, I just felt a little uneasy when they said that, and I was saying a prayer that they were fine. Young people don't think about these things like this, life experiences. I think the older you are, the more anxious you get because you've been through this. Because I was not aware of this. I was ignorant about trees too. And the first I ever heard of this was when our daughter turned 6. We rented 2 horses for her birthday party in Alabama. And Alabama has so many tornadoes. And the lady she wasn't the nicest lady, and I was like, wow, she's not very nice. And then somebody told me that she had just lost her son when a tree had fallen on him and killed him. And I had never in my life ever heard that. And I, of course, my heart went out to her. So this is just a quick check-in. Steve's still
Yeah,
alive. We're
yeah,
not
still
divorced,
alive.
right? Not
No,
divorced.
not divorced
Not
yet.
not a great divorce yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so we did a video a while back about gray divorce, but I had jury duty, and I guess you'd call it a gray divorce because the people were about 55 or so, and that just broke my heart that these people were in dispute in a courthouse, fighting over these things, and I closed my eyes and I could actually picture their wedding day and the happiness they had on their face. And Steve always said, if you ever want to get divorced, can you go back to that wedding day and imagine why you married this person and try to go back to that? And we often see if you go, oh, the grass is always greener, and you get married to the next person, you have the same problems with that next person.
Right.
Because it's you, right?
That's right.
You take your problems with you to the next marriage.
Yep. So true.
So, anyway, that's it.
That's it. So
That's it. Our boring, right? Like some people say you guys have a boring life.
Exactly. So anyway, take care. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. We made some safety videos with what to do before a storm. This hurricane's not the last, and they were intended for people who are not devastated like Asheville. Like some people said, I don't know how you could have done anything to prepare for Asheville. I kept thinking, did they even warn them? Because I don't remember ever hearing any warnings about Asheville going to be devastated. Did you?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
I mean, they talked about Florida. I don't remember them saying, Asheville, watch out, here it comes. I don't know if there's anything they could have done.
So our hearts go out to the people of Asheville and Chimney Rock and up and down.
Newport, Tennessee, thankfully the tiny home community did not. The tiny home community that we have been looking at for years, they are built on a floodplain. And oh my God, when I heard that Newport flooded, I was thinking all those mostly poor single women living there and no resources to leave. Thankfully, the tiny home community did not get affected.
Yeah, they're pretty lucky. They're pretty lucky.
Extremely lucky. And we were so lucky ourselves, right?
We sure
because
were.
Atlanta was supposed to be, and some of Atlanta did get flooded. Some of it did.
Sure did.
And some of it just lost power. And we just were, I have to say we were blessed because after all the things we've gone through this whole summer, all our little crises,
nothing compared to this.
No, that is true.
Our hearts go out to all the people who've lost anything and everything. And, to better days.
I mean, you just don't think in the mountains of western North Carolina that this is going to happen. And it went as far as Boone, and then we're looking at Augusta, Georgia, and I don't even know how far. I think I heard Virginia and some in South Carolina. So all the people in Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, our hearts go out to you. We hope that everything ends up being okay. And until we see you again,
take it easy.